Hey guys, and welcome to this edition of GDR, where today I'll be talking about something a little different. My main hobby in life is retro game collecting. So I thought I'd introduce you to how I got into retro game collecting and show you my first ever console, the Mega Drive 2. It wasn't this beefed up when I got it up first, but the 32X and the Mega CD had to be bought because I'm such a die-hard Mega Drive fan. I've also got 6 games here to show you and give you a little description about that I played as a kid non-stop. So we'll start off with the main game, which is Sonic Compilation. I must have put more than, I don't even know, more than any other game I have. I put more hours into this. It has Sonic 1, Sonic 2 and Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine on it. I just remember playing Sonic 2 until all hours of the night most of the time when I was a kid. I know that game inside and out. I think I can clear it now in one sitting just without any bother or any budge. But this is the best way to play Sonic if you don't have any Sonic games for your Mega Drive collection. I think this is actually cheaper than buying Sonic 1 and 2 separately. It's a pretty good game, and Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine being included was a weird choice. I think this came out around the time of 3 to kind of get the hype. This is the original kind of HD remaster, but Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine was also quite a good game. It's a copy of another puzzle game called I can't even pronounce it properly, but it's a copy of another puzzle game from Japan. Sonic Compilation's a game I'd still highly recommend today. And the second game, pretty much everyone mentions on Mega Drive videos, is Earthworm Jim. How can you not mention this game? I remember playing it as a kid and getting so frustrated because it was so hard, but it's such a good game. It's just so much fun. There was the HD remaster released on Xbox 360 and PS3, which I've heard is a lot easier and is probably the best way for most people to play now, but it's basically a run and gun shooter with a lot of hard, very hard levels. Next up, I'm going into Disney territory, which 16-bit and 8-bit Disney games are my favourite Disney games of all time. They were just made with so much quality and there was so much to them. Like, especially Mickey Mania was my favourite. This also came out on the PlayStation 1 as Mickey's Wild Adventure, but this game has, the animations are perfect and you go through different Mickey Mouse cartoons, and since I'm such a big Mickey Mouse fan, you go through from Steamboat Willie up onto some of the more recent Mickey Mouse cartoons, and you see people such as Pluto, Pete's in it. There's loads of Disney characters in it, the mad scientists from one of Mickey's other cartoons, but this is quite a quality game, I would have to say. It's one of the best side-scrolling platformers I played back then as a kid. It plays so fluently, the controls are pretty tight, it's really good for a Mega Drive platformer. But now that I've said that, I would have to pick up one of my favourite Mega Drive platformers bar Sonic 2, which is Rystar. This game was made by Sonic Team in a late stage of the Mega Drive's life, and this game's fantastic. It's really, they took a new idea from Sonic, and it's basically, you can tell it's Sonic Team, it's Sonic type levels and all, but Rystar has the power, instead of jumping on enemies, he will grab his enemies and pull them toward him, which adds to the game a lot. Like, there's hanging mechanics, there's different, like you can go up walls by grappling them and keep banging your head off them, you can knock stuff out of special areas, but this game really knows how platforming was done. But it's like everything, the late era games on a console will always be the finest examples of most of the games. The next game is quite a weird one. It's Fantastic Dizzy, which Dizzy was originally a PC game on the ZX Spectrum and consoles like that, and the fact it got ported over to the Mega Drive was a weird decision. Codemasters ported this, but I will say it worked really well on the Mega Drive. It really ported fluently to the Mega Drive. There are a few things that would have been better, I'd say, on the PC ports, but the Mega Drive version was pretty good. It's basically an adventure game where you play an egg, so there's loads of things like fall damage and all. Obviously, since you're an egg, you will die if you fall too far. You pick up all these items. It's basically like a simplistic adventure game, and on the Mega Drive, I'm not sure if they simplified it more, because I hadn't played the PC port of this particular one, but I've played some of the older ones. And I will say, as a kid, I didn't know what I was doing, but I still had a lot of fun, and going back to the game now, I find it even harder than I did then, but it's such a fun game when you get into it, and you can just pump hours into this just looking for where to go. Really fun game though, I'd highly recommend it to anyone with a Mega Drive. And finally, the game that came with my console and that I'll never forget is Mega Games 6. This game is fantastic. You have games on here like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, The Revenge of Shinobi, Super Hang-On and Columns, and also World Cup Italia 90, which wasn't the best, but things just like Streets of Rage and Golden Axe alone and The Revenge of Shinobi on here, these games I pumped countless hours into. Like, I remember Streets of Rage was just one that I could not stop playing. That beat 'em up action, it was the first example I got of a good beat 'em up game, and I just remember playing it constantly, playing as Axel, and the funny thing at the time was I didn't understand why his name wasn't Alex. I thought they'd spelled it wrong, but that's just one of them quirky things we do as kids. But then there's like Golden Axe on here as well. Kind of the same deal as Streets of Rage with the beat 'em up, but it's set in like a fantasy medieval world, which was amazing because I love stuff like Lord of the Rings and all. And I think that's what sparked and ignited that thing that I love medieval combat in Lord of the Rings, was just this beat 'em up based in a fantasy universe. And then you have like The Revenge of Shinobi, which I was always terrible at, but I still have fond childhood memories that one of my friends was amazing at it, and I remember him coming over and getting like halfway through the game and I'd still be struggling to get past the first level. And then Super Hang-On was a game I liked, but I never really got into because I kept crashing as a kid and got really aggravated. And Columns was my dad's favourite game, so I remember constantly watching him play Columns and being like, I want to try that, and then I just got bored out of my mind at that game. It was just one of them games I could never get into. But nowadays, I remember playing the Mega Drive collection on the Xbox 360, and I really enjoyed Columns actually, which is the funny thing about it. But then we come to the system itself. This is my original Mega Drive 2. I kept it all these years. This is what actually started my retro collecting again, and I was about 19 at the time, and I was playing my 360, having a normal day of gaming, and then I said to myself, I wonder, is there any games in the attic? So I went up and found the Mega Drive and decided I'll take it down and see if it still works, and it worked. And that was the downfall of my wallet per se when it comes to buying retro games. Then over the next few years I didn't really collect much. I just bought one or two games off eBay. One of them was Earthworm Jim and Mickey Mania, and I think over the space of 2 years I bought about 5 games. And then I started to look into older consoles like the NES and systems like that, and I bought a NES with Dr. Mario in the box, and that was an experience because I'd never played a NES. And then I started to realise that these consoles I'd never played, I really enjoyed playing, so I decided to just buy as many systems as I could to try them. That's the thing I love about retro gaming, is there's so many games, and I do it the way I would have done it back in the day in a store. I don't look them up online. I just go and buy a game and look at the cover art, look at the back and see what it says, and just buy it and see if it's any good. And usually it pays off. I'm very forgiving for games being bad. Like, some of my favourite games are terrible, like Captain Planet on the NES. That game is god-awful, but I love it because I just have that love-hate relationship with it. And that's basically how I got into retro gaming, was just buying one or two games off eBay, and then I just discovered so many more games I liked as a kid. And then came on 32X, which I'm trying to collect for now, and the Mega CD. And I'll have separate videos on these two soon, and I will also be posting more videos about my Mega Drive collection, because I have quite a big Mega Drive collection at this stage. But anyway guys, thanks for tuning into this video, and the main thing I want to see you guys post videos on how you got into collecting and your favourite console as a child. Thanks for watching, GDR.